morning, one teens. Have you guys been? Have you been coping with the release of the lockdown? I hope you've been staying careful. You're not staying at home right now, but you should still be careful. You should still sanitize your hands, wash your hands, keep your social distancing. Be careful, be safe, okay? Don't take things for granted. So, and how are we coping with our new normal? Especially our new normal for schooling from home. We are burning through that data, burning through the internet. There are some people who have still not been able to even start school. Some people are not doing all their subjects at once. Everything seems strange, but we have to work with what we have. It's very easy not to take school serious right now because you're at home, you're relaxed, you're not wearing your uniform. But you need to be on purpose, doing your classwork, doing your assignments. You don't need your parents chasing you up and down to submit your classwork and your assignment. Everything will soon get back to normal, the normal we were used to. But this is our new normal. We need to work with what we have. Today we're going to be continuing with part 5 of fear and anxiety. I know we've been treating this topic for like 2 Sundays. A lot of us have a lot of pain and suffering, a lot of things that cause pain and suffering to us. Some of us, we think that, well, these are things we can't tell other people because they are too gross. Some of us feel that, well, nobody's going to understand when we tell them. They're going to think it's silly. Some of us feel this is just too bad. I can't tell somebody I did this. I can't tell someone I'm going through this. Some of us feel I don't want to put people into the same kind of worry that I am already in, and so we don't want to talk about it. But let me tell you, one step about fear and anxiety, one step about the pain you are going through is to be able to talk about it to God. You don't keep it to yourself. You have to be able to go to God and ask God, why? Why is this happening to me? Why is this something I have to deal with? You don't keep it to yourself. That is one step. A lot of teenagers, a lot of people keep pain and suffering to themselves, and they end up committing suicide. They end up being people that cannot socialize. They end up having problems in their life, problems with their families, problems with their friends. These are not things you're supposed to keep. This is not something you should deal with on your own. God is always there, ready to listen to us, ready to hear us. We should go to God and ask God, why is this happening to me? That's one step. But today we're going to be looking at the next step forward, the next step higher. And that's not just to say, God, why? But God, what? What is this thing here for? It's good enough to come and say, God, why? It's good enough not to keep it to yourself and walk to God and ask God, why am I going through this? But then you should be able to ask God, what? Because that's when you begin to get answers. We don't always get answers when we ask why, but we always get answers when we say what. And not just answers, we get purpose. We begin to understand, okay, this is here for a reason. Right now, we are in a situation where the whole world doesn't know why this is happening. People are doing their best. People are fighting this disease, but people are dying. The whole world is on lockdown. We have not seen anything like this in 100 years. And there's a lot of whys going around. But for us Christians, we should be asking God now, what? What should we be doing at this time? What is the purpose of this at this time? When we started this year, I'm sure nobody thought of this. Nobody thought this was going to happen. We heard about it happening in China. It looked like something very far away. Now it's right here in our face. And a lot of people have gotten so tired of staying at home. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are being paid half their salary. Everything has become so tight and uncomfortable. And people are asking God, why? Is this something we did? Oh Lord, forgive us for our sins. But we should begin to ask what? That's the next step. After why is the what. That's where we begin to get answers. That's where we begin to get purpose. So I want you guys to grab your Bible, grab your notebook, grab your pen, and message about to start. I want you to take notes down and listen to what God has to say. We need to begin to ask the what. All right, so after the message, I'll come back.
All right, Switch, what is going on tonight? My name is Sean Loftus, and I have, like you've probably heard so many times before, one of the greatest jobs in the world, getting to be a Switch pastor here at Life Church. And tonight we're talking about a subject, we're talking about this idea, this concept. Are you ready for it? Are you excited? Okay. We're talking about suffering. Everyone's like, suffering. Like, some of you are like, I brought a friend. Suffering night? Are you kidding me? But here's the deal. We're not talking about just any type of suffering. We're talking about suffering. This doesn't get better. We're talking about suffering that God, for whatever reason, He allows to take place in our life. Like, I don't care who you are. You could be a Christian. You could be a non-Christian. It doesn't matter what you believe. You have all hit some point in your life where something happens and you go, why God? Like, we do it over small stuff. I do it all the time. Some of y'all are like, why God? Like, why was I not born and living in San Diego, California, on the beach, right? I know I do that, but hey, I'm about to get a little personal, get a little deep with y'all. Some of us say, why God, based off of our physical appearance. If you laugh, I know to pray for you afterwards. I'll lay hands on you, but me and God have had it out about some stuff, okay, in my life. One of those things is the fact that I have the worst chicken legs you've ever seen. Okay, I need to pray for all of you. Laugh at my pain. I'm serious. Like, if I wear shorts, it looks like God was like, He's fearfully and wonderfully made, and got to my knees, and He was like, oh, wait, I got something else to do. Like, why God? On top of that, y'all, I don't know if you know this, I don't have any hair. I'm not even 30 yet. Like, I'm showing up to high school reunions like bald, and you might be thinking, nothing wrong with going bald, but like before 30, it's like, God, that's a cold God right there. Like, we've had it out, right? Even in the small stuff, you start to get kind of upset at God, right? Like, you'll read a verse and be like, oh, it'll just like make you mad. Whenever you're sitting there, and at least for me, just be sitting in a service and that pastor, he drops that verse, he's like, He knows every single hair on your head. I'm like, oh. Hey, no, I'm glad I took one for the team so you don't have to keep track of all those numbers. It's cool. But I found peace in it. I was praying with God one day. I was talking to Him, just, hey, what's going on? What's going on with this? I can't even really gain weight. Like, I have to watch what I eat because I don't get thick. Like, when guys eat and get thick, they're like, oh, you're bulking up. For me, I look like a potato with just 2 toothpicks stuck into it. Go to the pool looking like Humpty Dumpty. But God, He spoke to me in a still small voice. It was awesome. Praying like, God, chicken legs, bald, what's going on? And He just spoke to me and He said, Sean, a lot of people don't know this. Jesus was bald. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. One day, you can't find it in the Bible. It's like Leviticus 5:4. It says Jesus. Bible joke, so good. You love Him, right? You love Him. You got to love Him. Here's the deal, though. When we start asking why God, it can turn from small, funny ideas to really some deep-rooted issues. It can go from small things to serious so fast. And for some of you, you ask, why God? I look at your generation. You have to go through things that in America, no other generation has ever had to go through. I read an article recently saying one of the things that causes so much fear and anxiety for you is the idea of school shootings, the frequency of them, waking up not knowing what could be happening at school that day. I read a study that said that girls in your generation from the age of 11 to 17, they have experienced some type of sexual abuse. Guys, 1 in 5 in that same age bracket, you look and go, why, God? You can look and go, why racism? In 2019, why are we still suffering with this? For some of you, you've always been such a good student, but you're looking at your other classmates and you're seeing them excel and you're going, why am I not excelling at that rate? Why do I have this learning disability? Why do I have this issue that I can't seem that God, you're allowing in my life? And I'm just here to tell you tonight that it is okay to ask God why. People all through Scripture are asking God why. Some of the main, best, most amazing examples in the Bible, they have their why God moments. I would argue that the most famous character in the Bible, the person that the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, the whole idea, the whole story, it points to this one person. It points to Jesus. Even Jesus has his why God moments. I want you to look at just 3 verses tonight. We're going to look at Luke 22, verses 42 through 44. Jesus has started his earthly ministry. It's about to come to an end. He actually breaks away from his disciples. He goes to talk to God the Father, and he gets in one of his favorite kind of prayer places. He goes to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he's having a conversation with God. He lets us see this. If you didn't know this about Jesus, Jesus is fully God, fully human, and he has one of the most intense human experiences in this moment. And I want us to just read it and just feel what he's going through. Jesus praying, he says, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done. An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. Now, when he says take this cup, it wasn't a physical cup, it was symbolic. And what was the symbolism behind it in the biblical times, it was a representation of pain and suffering. He was saying, God, if there is any other way, why do we have to go with this cup? Switch. I'm here to tell you tonight that the longer you live life, the more cups you're going to get. And here's the deal, is that asking why is a totally fair question. But if you sit in the why, you will not get anywhere. I would even say it like this. Asking why will always leave you with a never-ending problem. But asking what will always leave you with a never-ending purpose. And when you could clap for that, that's okay. Because here's the deal. When we get these cups presented to us in life, we're so quick to say, God, can I have another one? Or, hey, could you give it to someone else? Or, hey, I'm just going to leave it here and hope that it goes away over time. But in reality, the only way to experience peace and purpose and all these things isn't to give the cup away. It's not to ask why I have it, but it's actually to go through with what is in it. Switch, can I tell you a cup that God has put in my life of suffering? I'll never forget the appointment. My wife was pregnant with our daughter. We go to this 6-month ultrasound, and we leave that ultrasound with this reality that our daughter has a hole in her heart, fearfully and wonderfully made. Yet she has this heart defect. And it's not an easy one. They tell us in that appointment, you're going to have open heart surgery as soon as she's born. And I remember praying and praying and praying. We believe in a God of miracles. He's going to heal her. I had people all over the country praying that we would experience a miracle, that God would change our cup. And the reality of it is she was born early. She was 4 pounds, 3 ounces. When she was born, they rushed her to the NICU, and she, for the next month and 9 days, so she is in the NICU, and then she goes to another floor, the heart floor, and she's sitting there, and her health is declining, and they're trying to get her bigger because they don't want to do open heart surgery on a 4 pound, 3 ounce baby. And I'm sitting there asking God, why would you allow this kind of suffering? The day she gets wheeled off down the hallway and she goes into surgery, she's 5 pounds, 6.5 hour long surgery, open heart. Still asking God why. Why this cup? Why us? And they wheeled her back. And it was touch and go for a little bit. And she started to get a little bit of strength back. And this is what we walked back into. As a dad, you look at that and you still ask yourself, God, why? Why that kind of pain? Why that kind of suffering? But asking God why never brought me peace or purpose. It was from that day when I saw her and they closed her chest up that I started asking God what? God, I'm not going to get the answers I want this side of heaven, so I'm just going to start asking what. And when I started asking what, I started finding purpose. I started realizing God has entrusted me to steward this little girl and her story and her pain and her suffering, and I'm not going to blow it. Because I'm going to step into the what. And when you step into the what, you start to find purpose. And when you step into the what, you start to find peace. But here's the thing about peace, Switch, that I need you to understand. I want you to feel this, is that the peace of God, peace comes in pieces. Sometimes we're under this notion that you're less spiritual when you don't always feel the peace of God. But Jesus shows us in chronological order how the peace of God works. He's in the garden, he's in anguish, and he needs something. So an angel comes and comforts him. Imagine that kind of peace. Just shoulder rubs from an angel. Feeling good, appreciate it, heaven. Angel bounces. You know what the next sentence is? And again, he was in anguish. Peace comes in pieces. But if you want to experience the peace of God, you can't just keep staring and asking why. Although it's fair, you have to start asking what. And here's the thing that I've learned about the peace of God is that even though it comes in pieces, God will never give his peace without having purpose behind it. And so when you're thinking, God, I want your peace, I want your peace, I want your peace, I want your peace, God is saying, I love you and I hear you. But here's the deal. Here's the example I've given in Jesus. I know you want the peace, but I'm not going to give you peace when you want it. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you when you need it. And you can look at this story and think that Jesus, is that good. And you can look at the story and think, Jesus, the peace didn't work. But when you look at the rest of the story, that angel, that comfort, it was just enough to get him through the next day. It was just enough to bring him to that cross. Switch, I don't know what cup God has put in front of you. I don't know what suffering that you're going through. But right now, I'm going to ask that I could pray for you and challenge you to not only ask God why, but to start asking him what he's doing. Would you pray with me? Jesus, we love you so much. We love that you, in your humanity, show us that it is not sinful to go through seasons where we feel anxious and fearful. But Jesus, you also show us that although it's okay to ask God why, we need to step back into the what. And that what is not my will, but your will be done. And so there are students in this room. I don't know what their cup is. Their cup could be a loss. Their cup could be something that a friend is going through. It could be a diagnosis. It could be cancer. It could be all these different things. It could be the pressure of feeling like they need to live up to their family. Whatever their cup is, whatever that suffering, whatever the outside source that you're allowing, I'm going to ask right now, Switch, that if you are ready to move from why God is doing this in your life into asking him what he wants to do through it, would you just raise your hand right now so I can pray over you? Hands everywhere. Jesus, thank you for being our example. Thank you for showing us how to ask why, but move forward in the what. I pray for every student that raised their hand that they would realize just how much strength they have. They would realize that you have given them this cup. It's not for anyone else. It's for them to go through. And as they go through it, they're going to find purpose. And as they find purpose, they're going to find peace. And although that peace comes in pieces, it always comes with a purpose. And it's going to carry them in every situation, in every struggle, in everything they go through. I pray you give them strength, that you surround them with people, and that you would continue to encourage them to start always asking what after the why. And with heads bowed and eyes still closed, for some of you, this message is still a little bit confusing because your why is so different. Your why is, why God? Why would you allow all these different things, and you don't know him, and so he seems distant and far. But I'm here to tell you that Jesus, when he asked why and didn't get his answer and said, not my will, but your will be done, his what was to go to the cross at Calvary. He was nailed to it with a couple thieves. He was mocked, he was scorned, he was beaten, he was tortured. He died on that cross. But 3 days later, God rose him from the grave. And so his what was to bring salvation to mankind, to humanity. His what was to show you not only is he willing to save you, but he has gone and felt the things that you have gone and felt through. And he is a real God, and he is a living God. And for some of you tonight, you need to start stepping into that relationship and accept the fact that what Jesus did was permanent, it was real, he is resurrected, and he offers salvation freely for anyone who would accept it, because you couldn't earn your way to heaven. So heaven earned its way to you. And if that's you and you want to raise your hand right now and step into that relationship with Jesus, I'm going to ask right now, would you just shoot your hand up now?
Amen, amen. That was awesome. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. Not just purpose, but peace. So when you begin to ask the what, God gives you purpose and he gives you peace. The one thing that blew my mind just now was God's peace comes in pieces. He doesn't give you peace when you want, he gives you peace when you need it. That's just awesome. A lot of us are listening to this message. We feel good, we feel great, we feel, okay, yes, now we can face that problem. Okay, yes, now that problem doesn't look so bad. I can take it to God and ask what, and we experience this peace. And then maybe tomorrow, the problem is staring you right at your face again, and you don't know what to do, and you're like, oh no, the message didn't work, the prayer didn't work. But listen, God's peace comes in pieces. He gives you the peace when you need it. There's a cup you're holding, there's a cup of suffering you're holding, and you have gone to the next step and you're saying, God, what should I do with this? And sometimes we understand, and then the next day you don't understand. Everything has gone haywire. I want you to know that when God has administered peace to you, the peace is there. It's there. You haven't lost it. It's not like as if it's not enough. It is there. You hold on to that peace. And when the time comes, when the time is tough, the peace is there. The peace that passes all understanding, including yours. Including your understanding. Sometimes you don't know that it's there. You don't know that you have the strength that you need, but it is there. Once you hold on to what God is saying, because you have asked that question, what? You have moved from why to what. What is this thing here for? God begins to give you peace, and He begins to give you purpose. You know what you should be doing at this time, and you have peace. When there's a casting down, for you there's a lifting up. When everybody's saying, what should we do? Oh, why is this happening? What are we going to do? You know what you are to do because you have asked God the what. Jesus experienced the same thing. He came here, he had purpose, but it got to a point when the suffering was so much, he began to ask why. He forgot about the what and he was asking why. In fact, he prayed, let this cup pass over me. Even when he had a peace and he went ahead and he went to the cross. On the cross again, when he experienced suffering, he said, why, Lord, why have you forsaken me? It comes, the pain and suffering becomes so much that we begin to fall backwards to say, why again? But you should know, God has given you the strength, the peace that you need. It comes in pieces. So, boys and girls, you guys need to know that God is there. Let's begin. Let's go to the first step and say why. Don't keep it to yourself. Go to the first step, say why. But then you need to move up and begin to ask what. Don't stay in the why. Move up and say, God, what should I be doing at this time? I hope you said that prayer. I hope you came to God and you said that prayer. God, what? Help me. This is my suffering. Present it. Leave it at His feet. He's there. He's there for you. I love you guys. Stay safe. Make sure that you hold on to God at this time, no matter what it is you're going through. Even if you think it's something that you can't tell someone about, you feel that people think it's ridiculous, it's real to you. Because it's real to you, take it to God in prayer. And don't just stay in the why. Go to the what. So till next week, stay safe. Help out at home. Reach out to your friends and your family. I love you.
Could ever think. Dreams and visions go beyond what we can see. Our hearts united in the wonder of it all. We stand united in the wonder of your love. Fully devoted, we follow after the one who gave it all. Christ alone be praised. stepping out in faith so the world would know your name. Christ alone be praised. No matter what it takes for the glory of your name. Christ alone be praised. We're stepping out in faith so the world would know your name. Christ alone be praised. And no matter what it takes for the glory of your name, Christ alone be praised. We're stepping out in faith so the world will know your name. Christ alone be praised. No matter what it takes for the glory of your name. Christ alone be praised. We're stepping out in faith so the world will know your name. Christ alone be No matter what it takes for the glory of your name, Christ alone be praised. We're stepping out in faith so the world will know your name. Christ alone be praised. Oh, Christ alone be praised. Fully devoted, we follow after the one who gave it all. Christ alone be praised. Fully devoted, we follow after the one who gave it all. Christ alone be praised.
Habib, where do you think you're going?
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can.
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh? What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies! No!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real! It's real! What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo!
Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Ant Hill Studios.